The goddess Terreta is finally here, folks. Yes, Sentenced to be a Hero has launched with a 1 hour long special, and I'm on board already. I'm loving it already. Yes, we got an OP lolly character that wants to have head pats. You got the MC that has a dark history. You got some amazing animation and art style being done by Studio Kai, which that came out of nowhere. Apparently, they got some nice budget here. This is going to be their breakout hit, hopefully. We'll see. We have some solid world building, and yes, while a little bit of reliance on the whole child soldier thing and the evil church thing, I'm hoping that it'll actually pan out to something good. I have a lot of hope and expectations for this, but this is my thoughts on the series so far. Let's just jump right into it. The series so far opens up with a guy named Xylo, and Xylo is one of these individuals that has been sentenced to be a hero. Now, you think that'd be a cool thing, like an honorable hero, that's great. Not in this world. See, this world's being attacked by these things known as the Demon Lords, and the Demon Lords themselves create this blight around them. Anything it touches turns into some sort of monstrosity, and these heroes themselves are tasked with having to fight in the front line. And no matter how many times they die, the Holy Knights will come in, take their corpses, grab their souls from the bowels of hell, and shove their souls right back into the body and send them out in the battlefield again. They're cursed to have to fight endlessly against this blight. And yes, over time, depending on how many times you're resurrected, you'll slowly lose your sense of self, eventually coming to the point where you forget who you are, your memories, and just become a zombie. Well, Xylo is joined with a guy named Dota, and apparently Dota has sticky fingers. This guy likes to steal stuff. And after a Holy Knight caravan is attacked, he ends up stealing a coffin from the caravan. Turns out, inside the coffin is this individual known as a goddess. She's like the 13th of these goddesses that's created to actually fight against the blight itself. They're very powerful beings. And after this goddess wakes up, she claims that she is Terreta, the goddess, and tells everybody that they can all praise her, and that Xylo is her knight. It turns out these goddesses have to make a pact with a person as a knight, and then they will grant them their power. And yes, she has chosen Xylo. But unfortunately for her, Xylo doesn't want to have anything to do with her. Says that I'll fight alone, I don't need your power, I hate goddesses. And he goes off into the battlefield. After Xylo ends up having to save a bunch of Holy Knights, eventually they run into a Demon Lord, they have to take down the Demon Lord, and finally Xylo is pushed to the corner where he has to finally accept Terreta, make a pact with her, which it seems like he is very familiar with. Makes a pact with her, and they take down the Demon Lord, and very quickly get confronted by the Holy Knights. At which point we find out that, yes, Xylo has once made a pact with the goddess before, and he murdered the goddess. Shock, 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 shock. And then we round out the episode finding out the history of Xylo and the fact that he was a part of the Holy Knights. He had a goddess that was assigned to him. He claims that he went on this one mission and that was his orders to do so, and he had no reinforcements. That led to the goddess, pretty much overusing her power to the point where she became corrupted. And yes, in order to prevent her from becoming part of the blight and being used by a Demon Lord, he ended up finishing her off. And kind of find out, it was all a setup. The temple, the military itself, all set him up so that he'd be sentenced to be a hero and gotten rid of. And that's the gist of the show so far. Like I said before, I really like this show. And I think a lot of it has to do, of course, is Terreta. I'm sorry, the moment that I seen her in the PV, I'm like, yes, please. Please, I love her character type. She's super freaking funny. She's silly. She's overpowered. She's super confident in herself. I was getting a massive kick out of it. And I love it. The entire episode is literally her chasing Xylo everywhere, going, all you have to do is pat my head. I'll take care of everything. I'm here to save the people. I'll do anything. Don't worry. You want a massive blade that you can one-shot a Demon Lord with? Just pat my head. Just go ahead. Just make a pack and pat my head. That's all I asked for. It's so freaking great. I was absolutely loving her and her silliness. Yeah, the entire time I was wondering why Xylo kept saying, no, I hate goddesses. I'm not going to have anything to do with you. I thought early on it was going to potentially be around the whole hero penalty thing, because they were mentioning the idea that no matter how many times we die, they can take our soul from the bowels of hell and shove it into our body and resurrect us. Additionally, he also mentioned, and if your body's gone, they'll put you in somebody else. They'll put you in a different body. This is you can't just blow yourself up and you won't have a body for them to keep you fighting. They'll find a body for you, which implies that they can actually grab souls. And so I thought that he was not liking Terreta because was Terreta somebody that he knew? A daughter or something like that? I thought that was the direction it was going, but then it ended up being that, yeah, he's dealt with the goddess before, and he's like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to use the goddess again. He knows a lot. It's seemingly implying that this dude knows what they're doing with these individuals. Again, we're going to the child soldier thing, which I'm perfectly fine with. I kind of, it feels like we haven't really done this in a long time. For a while, it felt like everything was doing the child soldier story, but this feels like it's doing the child soldier thing with the goddesses. And the idea that it feels like they are manufactured, most likely since it seemed like this goddess that Xylo used before was being corrupted by the blight, and that he was afraid of her being overly corrupted and then being used by the demon lord. I'm assuming that's the temple and the military is manufacturing these, goddesses using the blight in order to basically wield their power. And if they overuse that power, it's no longer containable, and then it seeps out, and that's something they don't want to happen because they've altered it in some way to make it powerful. But he knows that's a thing. He knows there's some sort of secret there, and because that's come to light, because he's aware of that now, they want to get rid of him. Now, why they set him up initially is the question mark there, because it wasn't until she overexerted herself that it happened. My assumption is that the military was using her as a test to see if the blight can overcome her and seep out and then be destructive. This was a test. Let's send them out there to death and see if she overused herself. I think there's deeper elements of the goddesses that I'm already kind of intrigued by, and that is technically the child soldier element. It reminds me a lot of something like Gunslinger Girl. With Gunslinger Girl, there are young girls that are essentially being brainwashed into being soldiers. And they want young girls because they're more easily manipulatable. And I'm already getting a sense of that with Terreta and Sinerva, which was the previous goddess that Xylo had. These goddesses seem like they are brainwashed, or at least developed and created with the mindset that they desperately want to serve. They want it so bad. And this is like a personality for them. The moment that Terreta shows up in front of Xylo after waking up from the coffin, she immediately goes over and says, "Oh, they need me. They want me to save them." Save, that's a great word. I will help you guys. Let me help you. All you have to do is praise me. Please praise me. And the entire time, the entire episode, she's constantly chasing after Xylo. Please, let me do something. Let me do something. Let me do something. You keep leaving me behind. Let me do something. Let me do something. Let me do... Like, she's desperate to do something. And again, at the very end, what is she saying? Did I help you? I did something right. I did it right. I did it right. Praise me. They're like almost juvenile in thought process and massively desperate just for some sort of praise. And again, Xylo doesn't want to praise her because Sinerva did that same thing. She wanted them to praise her in that battlefield, and thus she overexerted herself to save everybody, including Xylo, and then became corrupted. Literally, I think they're designed or brainwashed into thinking that was such their desire to do that it becomes sort of their downfall at the same time. And again, something similar to what I experienced with Gunslinger Girl that I think will be really cool if they actually get into that. The mindset of Terreta and her desire to serve and be praised for helping individuals. It's a cool setup there with the goddesses. I'm really intrigued already. It did imply that Terreta was sort of not known and was being moved by the Holy Knights, and that she is specifically the goddess of swords. So I'm wondering if later on we might get into some other goddesses, or if they're all gone at this point, and if they have their own attribute they actually utilize. If she's the sword one, is there a fire one, magic one, steel one, yada, yada, yada. By the way, I'm really liking the setup with the goddesses already. And again, I get a kick out of the OP lolly that just wants to be praised. And her massive Ohege. It's massive Ohege. I did actually went to go back and check. I did seem to think that there was a change in her Hage after a while, because he said that the flame grows brighter the further you get exhausted. So I'm assuming that's going to be an indicator potentially in the future. If you see that starting to get brighter and brighter, that's implying that she's potentially getting to the point where she's exhausted. But we'll see. Xylo so far, I'm liking. They imply with the trial that he has, like, inscribed himself with, like, potential or magic or whatever. And it seems like he employs that on the battlefield, essentially making whatever he's wielding turn into something that is like an explosive. So just like throwing these daggers everywhere and they just explode anything in front of him. They pretty much developed him into like a one-man army. It makes sense why the entire first episode, he doesn't really even need Terreta because he's that OP. But yeah, overall, I'm really liking the setup so far. Really curious to see what comes up next. I like the fact they're not holding too much stuff back and they're getting quickly to the plot points. It does make me kind of curious as to what we could do going forward. I'm assuming that we're gonna have Xylo get, brought in for charges for stealing the goddess away, but at the same time, the goddess is going to be like, it doesn't matter. I've signed up with him. The pact's been made. You can't undo the pact. And maybe potentially he's been forced to have to work with her. And again, get tied up with the temple all over again, which he doesn't want to do because he wants to kill whoever set him up. Set him up and Cernova up. So you do have kind of a setup for his revenge, a reason for the temple and the military to have to probably re-employ him because he has a goddess at his side now. And then at that point go off to fight the demon lords while at the same time probably trying to find out who set him up. Hopefully, potentially, we'll also get to see some other goddesses as well. But again, I'm locked in. I'm locked in for the story alone. Outside of the story, though, visually, show looks really, really good. Yes, there's a CGI points here and there, you know, like the big massive groups of CGI. There's some action shots with like the lines behind the character for shock value. Other than those two, the rest of it looks great. So many really like awesome animation pieces in this first episode already, like Xylo when he first goes down there to save the Holy Knights. Just that awesome shot where he throws the knife was just chef kiss. Him running through the battlefield and up on the column was super good as well. The shots of Terreta with the kind of panning shot, even though again the CGI, zooming in on her and then grabbing the weapons and all that kind of stuff. It is so many really incredible animation pieces already. And yes, even outside the combat sequences, just some really good like, you know, expressiveness to like Terreta and the characters as they're kind of just talking to each other. Overall, really good first episode. Yeah, yes. Because I'm not too like trusting of Kai quite yet. I'm hoping that this holds up. This isn't just the first episode is going to be really incredible, and then going forward it's going to kind of fall apart. I am really hoping that the rest of this show, you know, holds up to this quality. But either way, I'm locked in. I am really locked in, and I'm really enjoying it so far. But I think that's pretty much everything that I want to cover in this first episode. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you found it informative. If you did, hit the like button down below. I'll be doing first impressions of all the shows of the season, so definitely stick around. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe to the channel. But I appreciate your support. If you like this content and want to support the channel more, become a member. Until next time, y'all take care.